Hello. Okay,
It's us
cut,
once again.
cut.
Okay.
I guess I have a little bit of editing. Just a tiny bit. We're finally going to do our final review on our last work camp situation. Yep. It's been a long time coming. We haven't been there for a couple of months, but we've been just busy. And we just made a video, our 30 RV essentials that we feel are just, really necessary for full-time living in your RV. And in that, at the very beginning, we talked about our new business, Nomad Desert Wear, and kind of explained why we've been so busy.
Indeed.
Yep. So, well, suffice to say, we're no longer there. It was in Kingman, Arizona, and at the end of the video, we just reveal the name of the place, because we hadn't done that yet. We thought that if we didn't do that, we were able to be honest about the place and stuff, and that really didn't turn out, and you'll find out why in a few minutes.
Indeed.
So I want to put up a picture of our coworkers and us. Thank you. And say that as far as pros and cons go, we're going to start with the pros. Our coworkers were absolutely wonderful people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good folks. All full-time RVers. So that was cool.
Yep. There's Betty and John, and I think they left last month, or this month, or not this month. And then there's Ann and Les, who have been there for years. They left for the summer like they always do, and they were going to come back.
Yep.
But unfortunately, they got a text that they did not need to bother coming back. They were fired over text.
There you go.
And then there's us in the middle there with Ann and Les.
Yep.
And that was a little get-together we had right before they left. We made them some of our 11 spice cookies, and I made the little labels that said the name of the place on there and a little blurb on the back about how nice it was to get to know them. So when they got fired, they got in touch with us to let us know that they weren't going to be seeing us again. And we said, well, hey, yeah, same thing happened to us, and this very same day they were fired, so were we. Because of this video right here. Hard the video.
Right.
And then the couple, the last couple there, Cindy and Greg. Let's see in the picture on our right, our left.
Are they in the picture?
Yeah. They just left. They were going to give notice. We trained them. We were the first people that trained them, and they were going to give notice, but the manager kept following Greg around and apparently haranguing him, saying, "I don't think you guys are happy here. You're just not happy here," which is the same thing they said to us. You're not happy here. Obviously not happy here.
Yeah. Proper happiness quotient or something. I
No,
don't know
right.
what the deal is with that. Whatever.
And so I guess Greg just lost his temper and just went, "Okay, that's it. We're leaving. We're giving notice. We'll stay here as long as you guys want, but no, we don't like you. And we don't like the way you run this place." So the manager lost his temper and said, "Get out right now, and you better be out before this evening or I'm calling the cops." Well, they did call the police. Sadie and Greg called the police to see, can you really throw us out of here? And the police said, no, it's a civil matter. We can't do anything like that. And they weren't breaking the law.
Cops have better things to do. You know, seriously.
The management is definitely on the con side of this, pros and cons.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I know they're watching this, and we're not intimidated the way that we know you've intimidated other people, saying how much money the owners have and who are taking to court. We never met the owners. I'm sure they're nice people. I doubt they would spend their money taking us to court because in America we have a right of free speech and we are allowed to review any and every job that there is.
Yep.
There isn't laws against that.
Nope.
Not only that, you advertise on workcamperjobs.com and they have a review section, so I can only imagine that you have to agree to be reviewed on there just simply by virtue of advertising on that site.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about it, so here we go.
Pros, there's a lot of pros.
There is.
We were pretty darn happy there despite what the management thought. We had turned down a couple of other jobs and decided to stay, and we're fixing to stay there year round. It was pretty nice.
Yep.
It's tucked up behind a truck stop, and it's pretty nice and quiet.
It's in between a truck stop and a quarry.
And it's still quiet.
Quiet. It was no big deal.
It's really upkept nice.
Yeah.
There's a fish pond there that Mike and the manager cleaned out together and made it beautiful. And that was one of our favorite features there is the little fish pond as you're going into the office.
Yeah,
we got to feed the fish every day.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, they come up to you like little puppies.
Huh.
When they see you. They come right up to the edge of the pool.
Yep.
Hey, you got some food, some snacks.
That's pretty cool.
It's at a good elevation.
Yeah, 4,200 feet. High enough to be cool, but not too high to be like, I can't breathe. Oh no, I'm blacking out.
Right, right. It's just right.
Yeah.
The clientele were fantastic. It's not a destination, so you have a lot of people stopping on their way through, and so you get to meet a lot of people. That's really cool for us. That it isn't a stagnant pool of people there. Even so, the people that are there as monthlies are fantastic neighbors.
Yeah, they were awesome.
The clientele is a lot of retired people. They just want a smile and a smooth check-in and everything to be peaceful and work right. And we did not think they were too hard to please, unlike the management. The management does not like retired people.
He said they were, quote, grouchy. Okay. People come back to you as you come off on them. You know what I mean? So.
And he also said, that they wish they could return to the Hatteras campground back east because it's a younger clientele.
Yeah.
He complained a lot.
I heard that myself out of his own mouth, so whatever. Anyway.
The awesome locals.
Yeah. That's some cool.
Some characters.
Desert folk out there, It's like the only little store anywhere. A lot of these people, they don't have license plates on their cars. They barely run. They're driving illegal vehicles or whatever that wouldn't be freeway worthy at all, So this is their store,
This place is right on the 40. So that's, if they don't come to that little store, they'd have to get on the 40.
Yep. Which, some of those vehicles would, nope, you'd never make it,
So they come into the little store and they purchase, their little groceries and a lot of junk food in there. They purchase beer and their tobacco stuff, which that's what we sell in the store. That's what we sold there. That's what's in the store. And we kind of didn't appreciate the management then complaining about the things that the locals would buy. Well, they bought the stuff in the store, and one of the managers, the wife, told me that that's the bread and butter of that place is the locals that come in. So be sure and be nice to the locals, she said. Well,
they pay the bills.
Yeah, they pay the bills.
They pay the bills.
So don't. Gosh, I wish they hadn't complained so much about. I think they were the unhappy ones, and everyone else thought so too.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi is pretty decent.
Yeah, not bad at all.
The laundry room is just spotless.
Immaculate.
Yeah.
Immaculate. We made sure to keep it that way. These machines were a couple of years old, several years old, as a matter of fact. It was brand new, spotless.
Right.
So, inside and out, too. So.
It was a good job. I mean, Mike did a fantastic job, and I loved being in the office. All of us, it was a good crew. Everyone was pretty happy. Everyone was on time. Like I said, the only cons were
early.
The only cons were the managers, really. Yeah. Just unbelievable. So we've gone over the neighbors. The place itself has a good reputation. It's a 10-10-10 Good Sam place.
Yeah.
There wasn't ever really a lot wrong, like, a lot of times we go to a campground and the plugins won't work, or there'll be, the Wi-Fi is down, or something weird happening, and there really wasn't a lot of that. There's just like one small area that there's no cable working, and so those spots rented for a little bit less because there's no cable. There's on-site propane, which was really cool.
Yeah. Mike
dispensed propane all day, and that's where those walkie-talkies really came in handy.
Yeah.
And I think that is all the pros about the place.
Right.
I said that the management was, pretty paranoid about how happy people are.
Bizarrely so.
And they are spying on people without their knowledge. They did not disclose that the security cameras have sensitive microphones and that they could sit in their office and hear everything that people are saying. And I'm sure that that's what alerted the managers to look at our video. He claims to have a photographic memory, and that's why he did it, but no. No, he just, I couldn't figure out what. I thought, what's going on here? I just mentioned to the gal I was training, we had a channel, a full-time RV channel, and to check it out, and that we were going to do a review of this place. Well, wouldn't you know it, it was like 2 days later. And so you're being monitored over the remote desktop as well. That's always up there. So when you're running the campground manager software, there's always somebody looking and listening. It's like, why even hire anyone if you're going to sit there and look and listen to everything they do? It's like you're doing the job too. So why hire anybody?
They were constantly there, whether they're on the schedule or not. Just always. Always.
And no one was ever happy when they were there, because they sort of you could tell they were trying to be like nice, easygoing, cool people.
They're not.
They're really not.
They're totally not.
They tried, though. They did try. And we even came to like them a little bit. I invited them to go to the Steve Miller Band concert with us, and she said, nope, can't do that. Oh, okay, you're a higher up, I see.
Yes.
So
fraternize with the hell.
So they kept themselves separate that way, but at the same time assumed they were getting along with everybody because everyone's smiling and friendly to them. Look, that's what employees do with their bosses. I guess you guys don't realize that.
Yep. Especially when you can tell they fire you on a whim, just like they did.
Yeah, pretty much whimsical firing all around. Yeah. they're just not very aware of what's going on with the employees, I guess. Even though
like
they're totally spying on you, they just don't seem to get it.
Okay,
I don't know.
whatever, that's fine.
I think the training for the office was extremely poor. Their names are Kim and Bill, and they're good at their jobs, but they're not really good with people like they'd like to think they are. And Kim is not a good teacher as far as my job went in the office. Even though she's really good at doing it, that's not how you train people. You don't just do it really fast on the computer and then turn around and go, see, it's easy. You can't do that.
Yeah, right.
You should do it like I trained Cindy. You stand beside them and you have that person go through all of the motions. They do it all while you patiently and non-grouchily coach them through it. And all the while, you've got to tell them, no, you're doing fine, because otherwise, their personal nervousness at being new on the job is going to get in the way of learning. So it took me a while to learn because just poor training. The only opportunities I had to learn were when a customer would come in. So it's always like, I don't know.
When we got there, it was just dead. I mean, totally dead. It was
in
like
January.
2 people all day, or something. It was just like, not a prime learning time.
And you had brought up something too about her like being dishonest.
Oh, how she would just lie just to make people feel bad. Yeah, I heard about that. She's telling my wife that, what you had asked, is anybody else getting this certain part of the software? And she was like, oh yeah, everybody else knows how to do that. Well, when asked about that, all the other people kind of scratched their heads when, we don't know how to do that either. So
she was making out like the other women were picking up this stuff really quick, and something's wrong with me that I wasn't picking it up, because 7 days into my job there, I was making mistakes.
You weren't a pro at it. Oh, gee.
Well,
yeah,
I have heard her side of it, her story, through Bill when he fired us. He claimed that I wasn't trying to learn, I was too busy reading my book. And yes, I did read a book on the job, because that's the gal that trained me. That's what she told me to do, and there's no customers, and everything is done. And in fact, everything was done. The store was spotless, absolutely. Everything was stocked, and customers were always taken care of. It wasn't like I was just trying to be lazy or something.
I'm going to stand there at attention for 6 hours. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you can't do that. You have to, amuse yourself with something. There's not endless things in that place to do. And the management saw me reading all the time. So, and the gal that trained me reading all the time. So if there had been something wrong with that, I think they would have said something. And so clearly, I think it was just, some people just can't teach, and some people can. I have a lot of experience training people with software. I managed a couple of the tax offices that I worked at, and worked with people with pretty complex software. And looking back on it, I realized it is easy software, but while you're learning it, it's so overly complicated with the steps, the process to get anything done, that it does take a lot of repetition to get it. And when there's no customers and there's no demo training program, you don't have that repetition to teach you. So I took a huge amount of notes, and I tried really to be as sharp-eyed as I could be when Kim would do something on the computer. But so often, if any of us made a mistake, she would tell us, oh, you won't need to know how to fix this, I'll just do it. And so people weren't learning how to correct it if they hit a wrong key or something.
Yeah.
But now I have campground manager under my belt now, so that's pretty good.
Oh. I suppose it was worth it for that, huh?
Yeah, it really was. I said we were pretty happy there,
Yeah.
and we think it's a nice campground. People should stay there. We think um, we wouldn't try to dissuade people from working there either because there's a lot worse places, a lot worse management. It could be a lot worse.
Just be warned.
Be warned. Bill has no sense of humor. If you try to joke with him, he will not get it very well, and it makes him grouchy.
Yeah.
Kim does have a good sense of humor, but she is very intolerant of people making mistakes and doesn't train well. And both of them apparently are, well, at least Bill is paranoid about how happy people are not there.
Yeah.
And there's no job that's just going to be like, this wonderland of perfection. So employees are going to talk and they're going to comment and they're going to have a camaraderie that they're not going to have with the bosses. And it is employees and bosses because legally you can't be an independent contractor when you work for someone else under their schedule and with their equipment, and you have no say in it, and they tell you how to do the job. That's the
IRS law.
The IRS is very particular about what self-employment, aka independent contracting. They're very particular about that. They have specific rules about what constitutes that and what constitutes being an employee. And all of the qualifications for being an employee are met. So if you find yourself in that situation, you need to turn in an SS-8 to the IRS. You get that at irs.gov so that you're not stuck paying the Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes that an employer is supposed to be paying. Right?
Yep.
And it's not like we made a huge amount of money there. They didn't pay very much, and they weren't very flexible with the schedule, even though they could have been. We really wanted to have our Sabbaths off, that sundown Friday to sundown Saturday night, and it's not a busier day than any of the others because it isn't a destination.
No.
Right? So it
These are
wasn't
retirees. They don't care what day it is.
And the other employees didn't care about whether they worked on Saturday or not. And any one of them would be fine with Saturdays, right? There was nobody ever asking for Saturdays off but us. Yet, they just bent over backward letting us have time off to go to the Steve Miller Band concert. We were already gone by then, but I set that up ahead of time. But when it came to the Sabbath, they were very intolerant with that. So it was a good experience. I'm glad we did it. It's a pretty good place.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So Kim and Bill, I know that you're probably out there watching, and because you may not realize it, but when you are spying on someone's Facebook, your face and your name come up under their people you may know list.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no reason to have a connection there because I've never typed anything about where I've been or working there or anything. There's no connection. But the algorithms put it together when somebody is looking at someone else's profile page, right? The algorithms will then bring you up as somebody that person may know. Hey, this might be a friend of yours. And there was Kim.
That's all right, because you know what? It's called freedom of speech. So, there you go.
There's our review of Lake Ranch RV Park and Horse Motel. Yeah.
Indeed.